So this week we watched 9 videos. The first one being what is new learning. Second, teaching as an art and science. Third, learning and education. Fourth, formal and informal learning. Fifth, learning community, curriculum, and pedagogy. Sixth, modern educational institutions. Seventh, models of pedagogy. Eighth, what kind of science is education? And lastly, education is the science of coming to know. So we started out with new learning, and it's talking about the video is talking about modern learners being more diverse and having more resources, and that's basically it. And teachers needing to become more diverse in the way that they teach. The second video was teaching as an art and science, and I really liked this video because my brother is a history professor, and he definitely teaches as an art. He is very charismatic and makes you want to learn the whatever he's talking about. He's very good and at what he does. And they also talked about teaching as a vocation, and talking about your job routines and stuff. And then they also talked about teaching as a science, which was breaking down the specific things that you do as a teacher. And then the third video was learning and education and defining key terms. So some of the key terms they defined were learning, training, and education. They said that learning was innate. Everything that is breathing is learning, pretty much. You can't stop it. You're gonna learn. And then the second was training, and that training is different than learning. Well, it is learning, but it's different in the fact that you're being trained. You're learning to do a specific task. And then lastly was education, which is systematically acquiring knowledge. I thought that was interesting. The fourth video was formal and informal learning. Formal learning being in the classroom and having a learning community, a set place that you go to learn, and then having a set curriculum and pedagogy, which pedagogy I learned was the mode in which you were being taught with like a teacher or online, something like that. We also, I guess it's the fifth video, was learning, community, curriculum, and pedagogy. They just elaborated on what that meant, and they set community. It has to be a set community is how they defined it, and a set curriculum, and a set pedagogy, which is the way you teach. Modern educational institutions. There have been a lot of disruptions. Kind of what we talked about in the first video is the learners being more diverse and the modes at which we can learn. And so there's disruptions in the communities, the learning communities, curriculum, and pedagogy. Models of pedagogy are didactic pedagogy, authentic pedagogy, new learning, reflexive, and transformative pedagogy. Then the next video we watched was what kind of science is education, and I thought this was interesting. They said that any focused inquiry is a science, and I thought that was really cool. And also, I'm a big fan of Latin things. I like Latin words. So, sciens is the Latin word for knowing, and I really like the diagram that they showed where it broke down what I traditionally think of science was, geology or, biology and sociology and psychology as sciences. And I thought it was really cool that it comes from the word of knowing, and I thought that was really interesting. And also, my second favorite after teaching as an art and science is education is the science of coming to know. And I like this one a lot because they compared it to philosophy, which was I don't really you don't really think about philosophy as being the mode at which people used to learn, but that's what it was. And he's talking about how education needs to be relevant instead of being outdated, like philosophy has become, and so technical. It also talked about education is the science of coming to know. It's um, knowing how to all the different ways in which to present information, and is really just interesting to me. Anyway.